If you Google ugliest car ever made, you're only going to see one answer. The Pontiac Aztec. That was, until now. When I was told that I would be driving the most powerful production BMW M car ever made, the most expensive BMW currently on sale, the first M car with a hybrid powertrain, and indeed, the first M-only model since the legendary M1, well, I had images of a limited run, special edition thoroughbred. However, the car in question, as it turns out, is more of a thoroughbred in the sense that the royal family are technically thoroughbreds, though in reality it's less thoroughbred and more inbred. When I first saw the car in question, I said I will not be seen dead in that. And that is why I've brought it here, to Death Valley. Not only that, I've brought it to a ghost town in Death Valley. Literally the least populous place that I could think of is where I've come to drive the BMW XM. Yes, the XM, the larger-than-life hybrid super SUV from BMW, which feels like it was practically made for Instagram, but which has also drawn some criticism online due to the rather interesting design choices BMW made with its front end. All right, we're going to show you it. Are you ready? Okay, all right, calm down. I've been looking at it all day, and guys, it's not actually that bad. See? BMW call this car the Ultimate M, but whose Ultimate M is it? Who exactly is this car made for? We'll begin with its design and, well, it's hard to describe. My gut reaction is that overall, it's incredibly ugly, and yet, some of the individual details are beautiful. Check out this black belt line and the twin emblems out back, both an homage to the legendary M1. And then we get to the front. All right, enough BMW bashing. And truth be told, I grew to really like the way the XM looks. Whilst it may be no instant classic, compared to the likes of the iX or the current 4 Series, the XM styling is proportionate, it's powerful, and it's progressive. It's the same story of confusing design on the inside. The interior of the XM is a bit all over the place. It's not that it's not nice, it's just hard to see what they were going for. Is it old world luxury or cutting edge new world tech? Who knows? Certainly the designers at BMW don't. What results is a cabin that's busy. Every surface adorned with a different material, different colour, different texture, different idea. Join me now, if you will, in the M Lounge. Yes, that is actually what the adults at BMW decided to call the rear seats of the XM. But you know what, I will say, they're incredibly comfortable. We've got scatter cushions, never a bad thing. And yeah, loads of room, great. There's also this headliner, which is very cool, but it doesn't do anything. There's no moonroof, no giant 7 Series sized TV. It's just a geometric roof for some reason. Regardless of what you think of its looks though, where the XM really begins to shine is on the road. Paper at least, the XM isn't a competitor for the likes of the poster boy super SUVs from Lamborghini and Ferrari. Not that you'd tell from behind the wheel. For a big car, it is remarkable how quickly it gets up to speed, my goodness me. In testing, the XM surprised a lot of us. BMW claims that the XM 0 to 60 time is 4.1 seconds. But when we tested it here at MotorTrend, we actually managed to get it to do a 3.6, which is too bad. It also did a standing quarter mile in 11.8 seconds at 118.2 miles an hour, and this is slightly nuts for an SUV, a 0 to 100 to 0 in 12.4 seconds. Oh, Jesus. You missed that red line. The XM really punishes you for your sins. Firstly, it holds you at that red line even past the point where you have finally gone okay and hit the pedal, sort of chastising you for doing wrong. And then the head jerk is just phenomenal. The way that this car sort of seesaws as it roars through the gears is pretty amazing, and I don't know what keeps doing it. The XM is all new, and yet it's kind of not all new. It is based on an X5M competition chassis, which has been lengthened to allow for the hybrid tech and the battery pack. A lot of the suspension components were carried over from the X5M comp, which is no bad thing because that was a pretty fantastic handling vehicle. What I do find kind of confusing is that previously BMW have managed to get over 600 horsepower out of this 4.4 litre V8 on gas alone, no hybrid assistance. So how come then the XM, with the assistance of hybrid, still only has a horsepower figure of 644? That doesn't make any sense. That power split, by the way, is 483 horsepower from the V8 and 194 horsepower from the electric motor. And it does all start to make sense again when you remember that just a few months after the XM went into production, BMW announced an updated, up-rated version called the Label Red, which will have another 94 horsepower. Sort of seems like they should have just made the regular XM that powerful, doesn't it? But wait, there's more. BMW claim this is the most powerful M production car ever made, right? Well, it's kind of not. Most powerful? Yes. But quickest? Far from it. It may have more horsepower than the likes of the X5 and X6M competition, 644 versus 617, but back in 2020, when we tested the X6, it did a 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. But even so, BMW claim that the Label Red will only do a 3.9 to 60. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what they're playing at. It's all semantics, and really, it only matters if you're buying the XM so that you can brag about it. And honestly, if you're that guy, then you're probably buying an Urus or a Purosangue, which may be quicker and more powerful overall, but also cost considerably more than the XM for what is essentially the same car. Perhaps then we're starting to find the XM's niche. It's the budget super SUV. Remember all those superlatives I used at the top of the film? Quickest M car, all that kind of stuff. Well, there is another which I failed to mention. This is also the heaviest production BMW ever made. In fact, when we tested this vehicle, it tipped the scales at 6,046 pounds. This is a lot of car. And, you know, I want to give credit where credit is due. BMW have done a very good job in the chassis department of managing all of the weight of this car at high speeds. It handles pretty bloody well. Given that it is, as I've said, not quite at the level of the super SUVs out there in terms of speed and performance, it is remarkable just how quick you can go in this vehicle. Like, not good if Johnny Law catches you kind of quick, like 3 digits quick. Luckily for me, the XM's brakes are more than up to the task of keeping me on the blacktop and keeping me out of jail. In hybrid mode, the XM drives like every other plug-in, and in fact, the XM can cover around 30 miles and do speeds of up to 80 miles per hour on electrons alone, which is very impressive for a vehicle this heavy. I've softened on the XM considerably. Whilst it still makes zero sense to me as a car, dare I say, I actually rather like it. This car was announced during BMW's celebration of a half century of the M brand. And to me, that was exactly the wrong time to announce a car like this. I can get on board with a lot of things. That gaping front end, the definitely won't age well geometric door handles, even the artificially enhanced V8 engine note. But as for calling this £6,000 hybrid SUV the purest M car ever made, that's a step too far, I think. The bottom line though is this. The reality is that this car, whilst ugly, is very necessary. BMW and M are gonna sell a load of these cars. They're gonna sell them quicker than they can make them. And whilst to an M purist that might seem like a bad thing, I say let them do it, because the more money they make, the more M badges they sell, the more actual M cars, special M cars, limited run M cars they will be able to make, because they'll have the money to do so. So, with that in mind, this is actually kind of a good thing, I suppose. But really though, it's humongously heavy, it's got a really harsh ride. I don't know, I really was expecting to hate it, and I don't love this car, don't get me wrong, but I certainly don't hate it the way I thought I was going to. Even the way it looks, I have to admit, the more you live with it, the more you grow to appreciate the juxtaposition of its fever dream angles and the more delicate jewelry-like details. So, who is this car made for? Well, I suppose the glass half full answer is everyone. If you want it to be sporty, it can do that. Comfy, it can do that too. Very well, in fact. It can be deafeningly obnoxious or witheringly anonymous, depending on how you drive it. That, I think, has been BMW's masterstroke.